It was born in BC, Canada back in the 90s, where riders needed a fast and simple way to get back up the mountain. It quickly gained popularity because it was fast, simple, and it just worked. From there, it evolved into what we know it as today. I'm talking about the vertical bike rack. And today I'm reviewing arguably one of the best and most versatile bike racks on the market, the GripSport Versa 1.4. And I'll also be reviewing one of the best additions that you can make to your vertical bike rack that'll stop you from becoming a nervous wreck. So stick around. Hey legends, welcome back to Huck Yeah MTV and this long-term real-world review of the GripSport Versa 1.4. We'll also be talking bike security because the rack could be perfect to use, but if your bike isn't safe on that rack when you go get a coffee or a beer after a long ride, then that changes everything. Also, full disclosure, this is not a paid review. The rack was supplied by Ultimate Cycles, not GripSport, and I bought the lock myself with my own money. So this is my honest review of both products. So just over 6 months ago, the guys at Ultimate Cycles hooked me up with this awesome rack, and I've pretty much been using it daily ever since. I'm talking quick trips up the mountain, big full long weekend road trips as well, fully stacked, and keeping it on the back of the car full time. Why? Because I'm lazy and I can't be bothered taking this thing off. Basically real world testing. So who's this rack suited to? Well, because of its versatility, it's pretty much suited to a really wide segment of the market. For families, this is literally the perfect rack. Fully versatile, it's got really high weight specs, 25 kg per bucket. But yeah, super wide segment of the market that this rack suits. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. This rack is heavy. I'll put it up on the screen exactly how heavy this rack is, but yeah, it's definitely a two-person job to pick this thing up. If you think you're gonna one-hand this thing after leg day, then you'll be sorely mistaken. But on the positive, heavy means stiffness and heavy means strength. And there's no doubt about it. I mean it, this thing is built like a tank. It is so strong. And when you're shooting down the highway at 110, hitting a huge bump, you wanna feel confidence in your frame when you've got this much money hanging off the back. Okay, the price, so this rack comes in at $16.50, which includes the tail lights and the number plate holder. As far as the rest of the market's concerned, I would say for a vertical bike rack that holds 4 bikes, can hold up to 100 kg total, so can be all 4 e-bike with a tilting mechanism as well. $16.50, I mean, that's putting it up there, like pretty much puts it right up there in the premium category. Before we jump into my experience of using and actually living with this rack, I wanted to hear from the people who actually built it. So I jumped on a call with Talon from GripSport to find out how the Versa 1.4 came to life.
Do I look good enough for you?
Mate, you look like $1 million.
Fuck yeah, I'll tell that to my wife, she'll love it.
Thanks so much for getting together with me, Talon, for this chat.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, very, very good to have you putting the rack through its paces. The Versa vertical rack has been out in the market for a while. There's been some really slow growth with it in some aspects and some really fast growth with it in others. So, to be able to get a rack into, Ultimate Cycles up there near you and into your hands was really, really good for us. So thank you for giving it a crack with it, mate.
Yeah, no problem at all. No, it's been nothing but a pleasure, mate. It's such a good rack. Let's talk a little bit about you. So tell us about yourself, Talon, what you do at GripSport.
My role is technically national sales manager. However, it's a bit of an all-rounder role. I mean, I know that's a cliche kind of thing these days, but mate, I'm probably the least official national sales manager acting person in the entire country. Big part of my role as probably someone in the company that rides bikes the most is also working on product development. So, our designers and our engineers say, oh, why don't we do it like this? And I say, yeah, but that's shit house. That's not how anyone actually uses or loads the bikes, for example. In terms of features and what people want and how things work, that's sort of where my role comes into it. Real world experience and what we want to see on our racks and what we don't want to see, more importantly.
Yeah. What about the origin story of GripSport? Like, I heard it's a bit of an interesting story. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so look, the old thing of GripSport starting in our garage is actually true. Originally in the 90s, I was heavily into sort of cross-country, downhill mountain bike trials. My trials bikes and cross-country bikes and mountain bikes were constantly cracking. So my old man John used to strip the frames back. He'd process a proper frame repair, not just a weld and a clean up, but he would design gussets, send it off to get powder coated at a local powder coater, and the bike was effectively probably stronger than when it came out of the factory. So that was sort of how it came about. He did a few frame repairs for other people. How the rack sort of came about through my old man was we were doing a shuttle day for it. Would have been mid to late 90s. There's a very old school mountain biker by the name of Phil Catton. So Phil Catton was sort of one of the OG mountain bike racers back then in a similar sort of era as like Rando, Kavarik, Rennie, Ronning, that sort of era. We were doing a shuttle day with him. He was giving me a private coaching session. We basically lost his World Cup spec mountain bike off the back of our bike rack, which wasn't a GripSport, obviously. And we dragged it up this asphalt road for a few kilometres and it was absolutely destroyed. And my old man at the time, being a stubborn old prick, he goes, I'm just going to make my own bike rack. And we all went, yeah, whatever, John, no worries. And that was sort of another stepping stone for GripSport getting started.
I can imagine what the bike looked like after that.
It just ground everything down, you know, all the handlebars were worn down, the seat was down, the wheels were bent, the forks were ripped apart. Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Let's talk a little bit more about the specific bike rack that I'm using, the Versa 1.4. Let's get it out of the way right away. The thing is an absolute beast. Like, it weighs an absolute ton. It's built like a tank. Was that intentional? Like, did you guys literally just go, we are going to over-engineer this thing?
Yes and no. GripSport's always been kind of over the top in terms of engineering needs and requirements. That came about organically because back then my old man wasn't interested in doing any aluminium fabrication, for example. Mild steel was cheaper, easier to work with, and he had all the equipment with it. The vertical rack just came about organically and it just ended up being that heavy.
Yeah.
It was just a natural thing. It has the features on it that we wanted it to. That is the first gen vertical or first gen Versa. It is heavier than probably what we wanted. The next gen is going to be lighter with a stronger bike carrying capacity anyway.
Yeah.
So we're not afraid to cop things on the chin and go, yep, it's a heavier rack. It's probably heavier than what it should be by a few kilos. The next gen is going to just constantly improve and get lighter and better.
Yeah, sweet. All right, what kind of torture tests did you put this thing through?
As far as I know, GripSport had the first sort of test bed or torture test bed in Australia for bike racks. So yeah, look, everything that goes and gets released from our factory has to go through the same testing. We like to think that our testing covers off probably more than what it needs to, but I'm not joking when we say, the vertical rack went through something like 1.5 million cycles with, 50 kilo bikes strapped to it before we obviously did any releasing. So it's gone through a lot of hell.
Yeah. So obviously GripSport is an Australian company and all of your products are Australian made. How important is that to you?
Hugely important. So not just for myself, but for the ethos of the company. So, I would say every couple of months, I think I get contacted by an overseas manufacturer. We could effectively have our 4x caravan rack in the background there. I could probably get that imported and landed for, a couple of $100 per unit in a box, ready just to slap our sticker on it and sell it on to a customer. That's certainly not what we're about. It's not expensive. I mean, these days when you compare a 4x GripSport rack to say a 4x Tool bike rack, price-wise, they're bloody comparative.
Yeah, you guys should be super proud. I mean, it's awesome that you guys have kept manufacturing in the country, 100% Australian.
It's expensive. It's expensive. It's an expensive way to do it. If my old man found out that if I had decided to purchase racks from overseas and my old man found out, I'd be out of his inheritance like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd make a lot more money. We'd make a lot more money, but we would lose what the culture and what the GripSport was started for.
Yeah,
we won't ever do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. All right, last question. One word to describe the Versa 1.4.
Versatile. That was what we named it after, versatile. Yeah, we wanted people to be able to throw a range of different bikes on with minimal issues, everything from little kids' bikes to adult bikes. So it's versatile. Yeah, that's probably the best word for it.
Awesome, man. Love it. Talon, thanks so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with me. I know you're super busy at the expo.
No, that's fine, mate. Happy to take the time to talk to you anytime. Thank you for having us on. Yeah, really looking forward to bumping into you up at Sea Otter again this year, and we'll go for a little spin, I think.
Yeah, for sure, mate. For sure. Let me know. We'll come over. We'll see. We'll grab a sausage sandwich and have a chat.
We'll do a coffee, a bacon, egg roll, and we'll head out for a couple of laps at Mogo. Sounds good.
Lock it in. Lock it in.
That was epic to catch up with Talon. I love hearing about the behind the scenes of the design of a product like this. But what really matters is how it performs in the real world. As far as the install goes, it couldn't have been easier. The whole thing comes in one single box. 3 main pieces, I guess you could say. The main shaft, which already comes assembled, and then your crossbars, and then obviously your hoops on top. And it just slides straight into a 50mm hitch receiver. Throw on the anti-wobble device and tighten it up. And once it's done properly, there's no more wizardry. It's literally perfect. So how's it perform on roads? Let's just say I probably shouldn't have taken it down some of the roads I've taken it down, but honestly, no sway. This thing is rock solid. It's so good. Like, I honestly feel super confident with this rack. I know it's not going anywhere. As far as capacity is concerned, so this rack can take up to 100 kg, so 4 bikes weighing 25 kg each. I think that pretty much captures most of the e-bike market. I mean, if you've got a really big e-bike with an 800 watt-hour battery, most of those are removable. My Santa Cruz Vala is 600 watt-hour battery and it's already weighing under 25 kg with the battery in, so it stays on. But yeah, we've had 4 bikes all on here, pretty close to that 25 kg, and the thing's rock solid, no problems at all. Never once was I thinking that there was too much weight on the back. Now, the tilting mechanism, I never ever use it. I mean, I've got a ute. If I need to get into the back, I just whip the tonneau cover off and get into the back. Yeah, for people that have got like hatchback or a big, Prado or something like that, I can totally get why the tilting mechanism would really come in handy. Or if, you've got a bike that's probably too heavy for you to pick up, the tilting mechanism would make total sense. So after months of using this rack, there was one thing that kept happening over and over again. Filling up at a petrol station, stopping at a coffee shop, stopping for a beer after a long ride with the boys. You would always walk away from the car and do that look back towards the rack. There's something about walking away from a bike unlocked on a rack that just totally freaks you out. I realized I fully trusted it, but I didn't trust leaving my bike on it. And when it came to bike security, there was only one choice, Raklox. And I also had a chance to sit down with Jen to talk about how she saw this big gap in the market on vertical bike rack locks.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me.
That's all right.
Let's throw it right back to the beginning. Let's talk about Jen. Where'd you start?
So I started in the Navy. I was in the Navy for 21 years. I was an avionics tech on aircraft. That's where I started all of my kind of technical stuff and learning about quality inspections and materials and how things are made and learning cool stuff.
And when did you go, okay, I'm gonna make a real red hot shot of this and I'm gonna start my own company? Because that's a massive step, right?
At the time, I'd been whinging for about a year to my partner about the lack of locking facilities for bike racks. And I kept hearing all these stories about people getting their bikes pinched at the lights in Canberra. And I'm like, I literally drive past there. And I was like, surely somebody's going to come out with a better lock. And then fast forward, so I had a little bit of money about a year later and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And then I had an ad come up on Facebook, hey, do you have a product idea and have no idea where to start? And I was like, maybe I do. And they kind of really spoke to me in the fact that they were going to hold my hand and make sure I do it all right. So I couldn't stuff it up. I was like, yep, okay. And then I just went all in, I guess.
Cool. We're all glad you did. That's for sure. Okay, so what was the support like?
Well, my partner sort of said, you've got this company doing the online stuff for you, you need to find an engineer. So I went to the local aluminium supplier and I said, I'm looking at designing this new lock. And he was like, you need Scotty. And then I went straight to Scotty, met him, and that was it. He was my man, and together we were up until, I don't know, sometimes ringing each other at 10 p.m. at night. Months and months of close working together, which cost me an absolute mint. And he stopped a lot of stuff to help me get this going. So yeah, I really have him to thank for how far we got in such a short amount of time as well.
Now it sounds like you've got some really good support. All right, so I've had your product in the box for quite a while. I finally put it on my new bike. I was holding out for my new bike. I was blown away by how damn simple it is to install this thing. Was that like a clear decision right from the start when you were designing the product that it has to be simple?
I can't say it was front and foremost, but it needed to be easy but universal. There was so many prototypes, honestly. In essence, yes, I did make it simple, but that wasn't the first thought. It was like afterthought where I was like, all right, we need to make this easier.
Just like an evolution.
Yeah, definitely an evolution. It definitely didn't start out like this at all. The chain adjuster plugs, they were an epiphany that happened in my kitchen about 4 months after trial and error with all these other different things. And one of my children loves blue tack. I was kind of playing with it. And then one day I just looked at it and I was like, if I can just make this plastic and put it in the link, I can reduce the ring movement. And I was just like, oh. And I rang up Scotty, my engineer. I was like, oh my God, I've just solved the problem. I don't know what time at night that was, but it took a long time.
And that's the other side of it too, right? How quick it is to lock your bike.
Like, it's quick to install it, but it's even quicker just to use it, and it's just seamless.
Well, that was my number one priority, was the ease, because most people don't like their bike because it's too much of a hassle. They're, oh, I'm just going to pop in there, my bike will be right for 2 minutes. And it's not. It might be right for 90% of the time, but then that one time where you stop and you quickly duck into the toilet and then it's gone, like Caroline Buchanan, ducked into the cafe, stood in line to order a coffee, hadn't even ordered a coffee yet, looked out the window, bike gone.
Oh, wow.
It's a split second. It's the people that are calculated, that sit in those areas. They know people with mountain bikes on racks some paths, and they wait. They know how much that mountain bike costs.
Mm.
So unfortunately, it's just not worth not locking. But the problem is, you got to go and find your chain, and then you got to find the key, and then you got to find your padlock. You know, it's just that pain in the ass where you just want to I just want a 2-second thing. So that's what I wanted. So there's never a thought where you're just like, I can't be bothered. It's literally too easy not to do it. Like, grab it and put it, like, it's too easy not to.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Okay, so you came out with your first product. I believe you've come up with some new products as well.
Yeah. When we went to Sea Order, that was the first product. So we're calling it Raklox Secure Anchor Single now. A lot of people wanted it for horizontal rack. So I was like, righto, we need a horizontal version. It's taken me months. The first one came back and I cut it with bolt cutters. So I wasn't happy with that. They redesigned it and then sent me back one that's way better. It's proper chain thickness ring.
Yeah.
And essentially pop this around a secure point on your rack. This goes in, loops around the most secure point, and plugs into your bike. And then it comes with 2 Velcro straps that take up any slack. It works the same. It's a cheaper version as well, and it's more versatile. So you can wrap it around a tree if you want. You can take it with you. If you're going on holidays with your mates, you can wrap it around his rack. It's not bolted onto the rack. So
yeah, right.
And then we're also bringing out a new version next month. So people also wanted multiple bikes to be on one bracket. It's not as secure as the Secure Anchor Single, but the second one, it's still secure. It's still got the shear nuts and all the same thing. You've got 2 chains coming off the one bracket and plugged into two bikes, and will be a cheaper option to lock 2.
Right, okay. Anything else in the works?
Yeah. So we are doing a wall anchor as well. The whole idea is that you've got that anchor point in your bike, right? So that stays in your bike for good. Why not use it wherever you can? Because people are getting their garages stolen into and people are getting bikes stolen out of there. So, I mean, you've already got half the system there. You might as well get the wall mount version as well. So this is a prototype at the moment, but we're working on this. So little plate. Oh, you can just see it there.
Oh, yeah.
And then you put this in. So this is actually part of the anchor point. So we've kept it all the same. If you've got a downhill bike or an enduro bike or cross-country bike or e-bike, they're all the same. So you don't have to buy a particular thing for any bike except for the anchor point. So we do have the downhill bike anchor point now, which is tiny. You can see the difference.
Yeah, right.
Downhill bikes are usually only about 20 mil wide. Yeah, so we've branched out and got a whole heap of different things coming this year. So, yeah.
All right. I think we'll wrap it up with any shout outs that you want to do right at the end.
I'd like to give a shout out to everybody that's helped me so far, and Shen for all my videos and photos that he's done. He's been amazing. Yeah, everyone that decided to stock Raklox in their shop and give me a go, that's been really nice as well. Big shout out to my partner for being so supportive this whole time. Like, some days I'm happy as popping champagne and some days I'm crying in my hands, but you know, that's all part of business.
That's it, and that's what good partners are for, right?
Yep.
Jen, thanks so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat. I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic.
No worries.
I wish you all the best, and I'm sure we'll see each other soon.
Thank you very much. I'll see you out on the trails.
After using Raklox for a while now, it's completely part of my daily ride routine. If I pull up and I stop, that lock goes on. It's turned the rack from convenient transport into secure transport. So the final verdict on the rack, it's not the lightest and it's not the cheapest, but it might be one of the most confidence-inspiring racks that I've ever used. The pros, rock solid, super versatile, massive build quality on this thing. You aren't gonna break it. Perfect for e-bikes, local
serviceability, and of course Australian made. The cons? It's heavy. It's not ideal for taking off daily, and it will take up some storage space in your shed. But after all of that, it's definitely a good buy. If you're considering taking the plunge on a vertical bike rack, the GripSport Versa 1.4 really can't be overlooked. It's a great rack, highly recommended. If you're looking to pick one up, hit up Ultimate Cycles down in Nowra, give them a call. Huge thanks to Talon from GripSport. Big thanks to Jen from Raklox also for helping me do the interviews. So if you liked the video and you found it useful, smash that like button. If you're not already, jump on board. Subscribe, brah.